still keep on acting like a fool. You need to know it's me, not you. And if you didn't know it, girl, it's true. The thing that you should realize and try to understand why he is a part of my life. I know it's killing you inside. You can say what you wanna say, what we have you can't say. From the truth you can't escape. I can tell the real from the fake. When will you get the picture? You're the best in the future. Get away is my time to shine. If you didn't know, the boy is mine. Oh, had about enough to see that boy is mine. I'm sorry that you seem to be confused. He belongs to me. Sure this love I found simply every moment around. The boy is above without a doubt. You might as well give him up so patience think that he wants you, but I'm the one that brought him to the special places in my heart. Even though love is mine, you need to be don't love. Had about enough. It's not to say what is mine. Oh no, you need to give it out. About enough. It's not to see. The boy is mine. Seems to be confused. He belongs to me. The boy is mine. Not yours, but mine. Not yours, but mine. Not yours, I'm sorry that you seem to be confused. He belongs to me. The boy is mine.
I can't help but wait. Oh, I can't help but wait. Check it out. I see you with him. He ain't right, but you don't trip. You stand by while he lies, then turn right around and forgive. I can't take to see your face with those tears run down your cheeks. But what can I do? I gotta stay true, cause deep down I'm still a G. And I don't wanna come between you and your man, even though I know I treat you better than he can. Girl, I can't help but wait till you get that with him. It don't change. Can't help but wait till you see that with me it ain't the same. Can't help but wait till you see you for what you really are. Baby girl, you are a star, and I can't help but wait. It ain't fresh to just let him call the shots. You're a queen, you should be getting all that someone's got. You should be rocking the latest in purses, bracelets, and watches. You're worth much more than an occasional I love you, I'm thinking of you. And I don't wanna come between you and your man, no, even though I know I treat you better than he can. Girl, I can't help but wait till you get that with him. It don't change. Can't help but wait till you see that with me it ain't the same. Can't help but wait till you see you for what you really are. Baby girl, you are a star, and I can't help but wait. Get it together, you can do
then you gon' get you some. Smelling like some fragrance that I don't even wear. So if you want some loving, I suggest you go back there where you came from. Day to day with you, it's always something else. Working my nerve, God knows that I don't deserve what you put me through, 'cause I've been so true to you. For you to come at me with another lame excuse. See, I heard it all before. All of your lies, all of your sweet talk, baby this, baby that. But your lies ain't working now. Now look who's hurting now. Who's hurting I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. Play the fool before I was your fool. I believed in you. Yes I did. Yes I did. But your lies ain't working. Lies ain't working. Look who's hurting now. Who's hurting now. I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. What were you thinking? Bringing her into our home, in our bed. You must have fell and bumped your head, messing up my shit and violating me. I'm about to call my peace and take it to the street. Nothing you can do, and there's nothing you can say that could persuade me to stay with you another day. You have crossed the line to the point of no return. What you do from here on out, I am no longer concerned. See, I heard it all before. Let me explain, baby, not what you think. That's what you said to me. But your lies ain't working now. Now look who's hurting now. Now I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. Now played the fool before. You had a good game, I must admit. I was it, but now it's over. But your lies ain't working now. Now look who's hurting now. Who's hurting? I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down. Ooh, I used to hang on to your every word. But the
Hi, everybody. Welcome and good morning. It's so nice to see so many of you here. And I've been reading through the comments, looking at where everybody is from, a little bit about their businesses, how long they've been in business. It's really nice to have you here today. So we aren't going to talk for long. We're just going to jump straight into it. But before we do that, I always like to know if we have anyone here for the very first time. So if you are here for the first time, I want you to type hashtag first time. And if you're here and you've been here before, why don't you type hashtag I'm back? So hashtag first time or hashtag I'm back. And we are going to jump in. I'm super excited. We have a great training for you today. And what I want you to do while we're doing this training is to remind yourself that you haven't done this yet. You don't know how to do this yet. You haven't done it yet. And maybe think to when you were learning to drive. I found learning to drive really, really difficult. I don't know why. I have good hand-eye coordination and I can do a lot of other gross motor skills things really well, but learning to drive, I just found super hard. And of course, I learned stick because that's what my dad made us learn. So tell me in the chat, when you learned to drive, how was that experience for you? I did one lesson with my dad. I wouldn't even call it a whole lesson. I would call it the beginnings of a lesson until we didn't want to do it anymore. And that didn't last very long. And then my dad said, "You're getting driving lessons." And I said, "I don't want any more." And he said, "From a professional, someone else that you'll listen to." And then so that was a lot better because I got a driving instructor and I got a lot of great, let me put my computer into do not bother me. That's what it should be called, right? Not do not disturb, do not bother me. And so my dad sent me off to get driving lessons. That was way better because I was learning from somebody who was very patient, who was very outcome driven, and who that was their job. Their job was to help people. They had done it many times before and they had had success before, but I just found it really, really difficult. So while you are, oh, that's funny, all the notes coming through. While you are going through today, I just want you to keep this one thing in your head. It's just like driving. If you haven't done it before, it's going to take a second until it feels normal. Now, I've been driving for 25 years, I think, and it feels totally normal. And I can drive on both sides of the road. I'm a better driver than my husband. I can reverse parallel park without doing a 19-point turn. And yeah, it's a natural thing. So today, as we go through this training, don't say to yourself, I would never be able to do this, or I'm not going to be able to do this because I don't know how. You don't know how yet. Anytime I catch anyone in my team or in our community saying, I don't know how to do that, or I'm not good at that, I always make them say yet at the end. That's super important. So if you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do it yet. Okay, I'm going to share my slides with you. A few housekeeping things. We're actually going to collect your questions a little bit differently today. I'm going to take a couple of questions on the screen, and then whatever I can't get to at the very end, we'll get you to pop them into our travel marketing town hall question box. So we used to do this thing called Travel Marketing Town Hall, and everybody loved it. It was on every single Wednesday, and I would pop up and I would literally just answer all of your questions live, like no prep. I would just answer your questions live, but I can do that because I'm good at what I do, the same way that you're great at what you do. And we had to put it on hiatus because at the time I was coming towards the end of my pregnancy, and I just couldn't guarantee to be there every single Wednesday. And little did I know that when the baby comes, you really can't guarantee 10 a.m. every single Wednesday. So I think we're at the stage now where we're going to bring it back. I'm not sure how often. It might be once a month. It might be every 2 weeks, but it's definitely going to be next week. So next week, we will have Travel Marketing Town Hall. It's not in the calendar yet. We'll send out an email right after this today. And whatever I don't answer today in your questions, I'm going to answer them on Travel Marketing Town Hall. And then with Town Hall, if I run out of questions, then I just take them live from the audience. It's so great because it's almost like one-on-one coaching. Okay, so that was about questions. There will be a replay available for you, but I definitely recommend staying here for the live for those of you, loads of you who are watching on the live right now, because I can see your chat, I can see your comments, my team can respond to you, they can answer your questions. On the chat right now, we have Ez and we have Flora. So they can answer questions, and yeah, that's pretty much, people are excited about Town Hall coming back. That's awesome. Okay, so let me jump in and share my slides with you. Very good. You will have access to be able to download these slides as a PDF after this training has finished. So you'll have a space where you can ask questions, you'll have a space where you can download slides, and if you need to re-watch it again, there'll be a 7-day replay. With all of our training, there's now a limited replay. It's either a 3-day replay or a 7-day replay, and we'll always let you know. So this training here is on the 7-day replay, and the link for the replay is in exactly the same place that you joined. Obviously, it's not there now because we can't replay something that's not finished. So let me jump in and get started. For those of you who have never trained with me before, there were so many of you answering in the chat, #first-time, welcome. My name is Sandra McLemore, and I am now officially your travel business coach and mentor. So I have over 25 years of working inside of the travel industry. Now, this is really important because a lot of people out there will say that they have travel industry experience, but there's a big difference between working in the industry and serving the industry. The difference being that there are digital marketers and business coaches in travel that say, I've been in the industry for 10 years, but they haven't actually worked for a cruise line, for a resort chain, for a hotel chain, for a tourism board, for a host agency. They haven't worked inside the industry. I've worked inside the industry for almost all of my career. It's actually only the last 6 years that I've had my own business. So rest assured that I know the travel industry pretty well. I also was a travel advisor. My very first job, I was a full-time travel advisor and would sit in the branch. Let me know in the chat if we have any bricks and mortar travel advisors here. Maybe you used to be bricks and mortar, maybe you are now. I am a TV host. If you live in the US, you might catch me on TV, mostly on the news, probably I would say 98% 8% on the news right now. We're filming a travel show in the background, but yeah, actually probably 100% on the news. And I do a lot of morning shows as well. If you're in the DC area, I'll be co-hosting the late morning show on Box 5 soon. Okay, what else? Oh, so I worked my way up, not just from a travel advisor, but I worked my way up to VP level of the world's biggest travel brands. So I actually worked inside of the cruise lines, airline loyalty programs. I worked at Travel Channel. And one of my favorite jobs was working for Royal Caribbean for 12 years. They used to call me the money whisperer because my job was to make sure that the entire fleet of ships for Royal Caribbean, at the time there were 24, that they all made revenue on board every single week. As you know, there's a price to get on the cruise and a price to get off. And my job was to make sure that we made as much money as possible on board. So essentially, I guess I ran 24 casinos, 24 shore excursion companies, 24 spas, 24 shopping malls. And I absolutely loved my job. I only left to get married and have a family. I'm also the only ASTA recommended partner for marketing. I stand on stage with the CEOs of the biggest travel brands in the world. If you go to the ASTA River Cruise Expo, ASTA Global Convention, you'll see that they always put me front and center stage. And most importantly, if you ignore all of that, remember this one thing. I started a business just like you. And when I started, I probably had less money than you because I jumped into my business with $40. Now, I don't recommend bootstrapping a business because it's a lot harder, but I basically bought a domain for $12 and then a month of hosting on Wix, and I just went at it. So I understand what it's like to start and run a business, and I now run an extremely successful business. But the good news for you is, because you're like, well, how does that affect me? I only teach you what I have done, what has worked, and I basically save you from having to learn a lot of failed lessons. So I teach you what I have used. I only show you the tools that I have used. I only give you advice based on what I have done, whether it worked or not. So I don't show you just the things that work. I show you the things that don't work and then tell you the things that do work. And sometimes it'll be that we've done something for a travel advisor. We used to, back in the day, do a lot of one-on-one coaching, which we don't offer anymore. But we share lessons learned from that as well. So these are all the companies that I have worked with. So you know you're in good hands today. Maybe you see your consortia or your host agency down there, and these are just a few. I have a podcast. If you are not yet listening to the podcast, make sure that you do. Ez or Flora, if you can pop the link for the podcast in the chat. We'll also make sure that it's on the live event page. Let's put a button on there for the podcast, and you can listen to that on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or just on our website. You can actually just go to our website. If you're not kind of podcast savvy yet, go to our website and you can just listen right there. They're embedded there. And on our app as well, on the Travel Marketing and Media app, it's called Travel Advisor Hub in iTunes or Google Play. It's a free app. So let's talk about moving through a marketing or a sales funnel from a client's perspective. So you probably don't realize that you have been and currently are in hundreds of marketing funnels yourself. Did you know that? You're in hundreds of marketing and sales funnels. They could be for your grocery store. They could be for Costco. They could be for your shoe brand. They could be for your favorite designer goods, for your clothing, for your makeup. Think about your inbox. All of the emails that you get in your inbox are because you are inside of someone's marketing funnel, inside a company's marketing funnel. So at some stage, you never knew about this company. You'd never heard about them. They were a stranger to you. You were a stranger to them, and they were a stranger to you. You didn't know about each other. Then at another stage, you found out about them. Maybe a friend recommended them. Maybe Alexa heard you talking in your house and suddenly it appeared in your ad feed. That happens a lot. Actually, now when I can't find something, I try to just talk about it out loud in the house, and sooner or later it pops up in my newsfeed. I say, I wish I had, and then it pops up. So all of those things are going to show up in your inbox, in your newsfeed, maybe text messages as well. And sometimes you will actively go seeking out companies too. So let me know in the chat, what is a brand? And don't do a travel brand, just do a regular lifestyle brand or a business thing. What is a brand, not my business and not a travel company? What is a brand whose marketing funnel or sales funnel you are currently in? It's really important that we as consumers understand which funnels we are in. And I'll give you a quick example. When my child, who is now 3.5, Houston, his name is, when Houston was really little and he was at that stage, I think it was around 6 months, where the pediatrician said, you can start feeding him solid foods and it has to be this consistency and this type of food. I was really overwhelmed, even though I listened to her and she's a great pediatrician, because when you go into the store is a lot bigger than Dr. Lubin's suggestion list. And so I really wanted to make sure that I didn't choke him and that I gave him the right foods nutritiously and that I didn't develop any bad eating habits that I was going to find hard to break later. Now, thankfully, it all worked out really well because I have a really great eater, unfortunately, an expensive eater. He loves lobster and scallops. However, I digress. One of the things that I did is I was on Pinterest and I was looking at something else and I thought, oh, let me just see here if somebody has put some information on here about introducing foods. So I typed in new foods for babies or new foods for toddlers or introducing toddlers to solid foods. And a plethora of results came up, so many. But there was one in particular that came up and it says 100 foods to introduce your baby to in the first 100 days of solids. And I thought, oh, wow. And then in the description, it said images, shapes, sizes, consistencies, all included and broken down by the aisle in the supermarket. And I was like, that's cool. So I clicked on it, read a little bit about it, answered all my questions, and it just even exceeded my expectations, giving me the charts and everything like that. So it came in a PDF that I could print and put on the fridge. I'm a little extra. I laminated it, and that's mostly for my husband. And also I kept one on my phone as well for whenever I went shopping. And I just loved that it broke it down into areas of the grocery store. Most of it in the produce section, thank goodness. So that is an example of how I signed up to get that. I actually had to enter my email address and my first name, and then it got emailed to me. After that, this is a brand I had never heard of. And this particular brand, she sold things for small children. So they were like silicone eating cups, food bowls, cups, things that stuck to the table and didn't move. We didn't have those back in my day. We used to just throw things. And so all of those things, like the right cups so that they get off the bottle faster, like all those things. Listen, by the end of the first 24 hours of downloading that list, I had already placed an order on her store. I had zero intention of buying stuff, but that's how a really good marketing funnel works. I jumped on her website. She had the most amazing blog detailing her journey. And also she was a professional as well. So she talked about from a professional perspective and from a mom's perspective. But I stayed in her marketing funnel literally until I outgrew it because she only works with babies and toddlers. So that's a really good example of where you give your email address and climb into somebody's marketing funnel. So what I want to do now is just show you up on my screen what it is that it's going to look like from a client's perspective. So this is what you're going to see. Bear with me 1 second and I will show that to you. I can see some chats here. No, you should have just been looking at me. I'm sorry if that bothers you. I'm sure it doesn't. But I was when I talk to you, if I don't need the slide, you'll see me for those of you who are new. And then sometimes I'll be on the slides. So this here is what it looks like to be able to have what it looks like from a customer's perspective. So put yourself in the shoes of a customer. So there's 3 parts of it. Over here on the left, you see it goes from stranger to email subscriber to paying client. Now notice that nowhere there does it go to social media follower, nowhere does it go to TikTok dance, nowhere does it go to shared tweet because you were so funny. Doesn't do that. It only goes from stranger to email subscriber and then email subscriber to paying client, because that is the journey of somebody who finds you. I went from a stranger in that woman's marketing funnel into becoming an email subscriber on the same moment that I found her. And I'm a bit of an impulse buyer. I became a paying client within 24 hours. Now, that doesn't always happen in the travel industry because what you're selling is a lot higher a price. But let's walk through this. So firstly, a stranger sees your lead magnet and signs up for it. So a lead magnet, we talk about that later on down the track, but a lead magnet is basically something like it's a piece of content that magnetizes people to you in order for them to become a lead. So she put out that incredible PDF of 100 foods in the first 100 days for your baby. I gave my email address. So check, that one was done. That then created this conversion right here. There are 3 conversions you'll see here in bold. The first conversion was turning me from a stranger into an email subscriber. So that's done. That means I've now climbed into the top of her funnel. So you create inspiring content and you email it out weekly to keep you top of mind and top of speed dial. This was really cool because the woman who I was following, this child, woman with the shop for babies and toddlers, who was also a child dietitian or nutritionist, I can't remember, she would also send weekly emails. And so every week I would get, here's an email about fruit. And I remember the first email that I got about fruit, and she was saying, you might just think like, give all fruit to your baby, all up front, fruit is healthy, fruit. But she was able to break it down and say, well, look, there's good fruits and there's not so good fruits. There are fruits that we can eat a lot of and fruits in moderation. And she talks about the GI index. Now, I'd heard of some of these things before, but I loved receiving it in that moment because that solved my problems in that moment. She also addressed the fact that if you give a lot of really, really sweet foods to a baby in the beginning, they become very sweet obsessed. So those weekly emails were critical. Now, in your business, you would also send out weekly content. We're going to talk about that in a middle. Right now, we're just focusing on what it feels like from a client's perspective. So think about some of the marketing funnels that you're in. When you hear from them, what kind of things are you hearing? Now, some brands don't do a great job. They just send out ads and sales pitches, but the ones who do a really good job are sending out helpful information. So then moving further down, after I've become an email, after that, I'm already an email subscriber. So that is my second conversion. Then at some stage, you will email out something to get the sale. So you want to make sure that you're emailing helpful educational content for weeks. I usually recommend not sending a sales email for the first 6 weeks that someone is a subscriber. Your email marketing platform can do that for you so easily. So don't stress right now if you're wondering, like, I wouldn't even know how to do that. And so an example with this woman is if she's going to send out an email with a great sale offer, like a sales email saying, hey, I've got this amazing bundle. It's $200. It includes all of these plates and cups and drink bottles and all these other things. And you can upgrade to the $500 package. And here's everything you will need until your baby turns 5 or until your baby turns 10 for $800. Legit. I bought the $800 one. So because she said it's everything until he turns 10. Funny enough, he's 3.5. We're still using all this stuff all the time. We use about 1, 2, 3, 4 things a day. And so it's truly valuable to me. So with that sales email, you, because of the price of travel, the investment in travel, you don't want to send out a sales email straight away. Can you imagine someone becoming an email subscriber this morning and then by 11 a.m. you're like, hey, I've got river cruise sales, or I've got an amazing deal on an all-inclusive in Mexico. They're going to think you're a little bit like hardcore on the sales. It's like when you go into a car dealership and they just come up and they go crazy straight away, like they're like excited puppies on heat. I hate it. I always stand behind my husband when that happens. I'm sure they think that I'm like old school, old fashioned lady standing behind my husband. I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. So I definitely recommend holding back a sales email until after someone has been a subscriber for 6 weeks, because in 6 weeks, you can truly, that 6 emails that you sent them, if they haven't unsubscribed, it means that they're totally into what you're sending them. They're really appreciating it because trust me, people unsubscribe when they don't want your content. You are here because you did not unsubscribe from my emails. There is something about my emails that you enjoy, that you look forward to, so you haven't unsubscribed. Actually, I'm really curious to know, it's a little self-indulgent, why have you not unsubscribed from my inbox? What keeps you from my email list? What keeps you in my email list? Tell me specifically why you haven't. So if somebody said to you today, are you going to unsubscribe from Sandra? Your answer would be no, because what? I would love to know in there why you would not unsubscribe from my inbox. And I'm pretty sure that if I started spamming you with like sale for the rest of the year, that you'd probably receive sale fatigue and you might eventually unsubscribe to me. So a couple of things that are coming up here, relevant content. Lisa, oh, thank you, Lisa. Lisa says here, Lisa says here, you're amazing content and you always over deliver. I will today too, Lisa, just saying. Latanya, hey girl, she says, because I'm an expert in the field. World of Wonder Travel says, I want to learn how to make money, so I'm not going to unsubscribe. Globe Sage Travel says, because of trainings like this, you'll never unsubscribe because otherwise you'd never know about free trainings like this. And says opportunities for amazing travel, training opportunities. So these are the reasons that you're never going to unsubscribe. And there are literally dozens and dozens coming in here. I love this one here. This one is from Brittany. Hi, Brittany. She says, value information that I've not been able to find anywhere else. So I shouldn't be concerned about sending out one email a week throughout the year with something helpful. It might be, I don't know, did anyone get the email? Well, everyone should have got it. I don't know, did anyone read it? Don't lie, but did anyone read the email that I sent this week about the NBA championship and about being a coach and the coach's role in the NBA playoffs, and that the playoffs are happening right now? You don't even have to be a basketball player, basketball fan to love it. But I sent this email basically about the NBA season because next month is the championship, and I'm a basketball fan. I was known to date a basketball player in my younger days, but I saw the light and realized that wasn't my kind of lifestyle. But it's a really good email. Go back and have a look for it. It came out, I think it was in the last 5 days. And it basically talked about how the coach has all of these players on the team, all with different abilities and serving different purposes. And every time they come up against an opponent, the coach says, okay, I need a plan here. I'm going to do this with you, this with you, this with you. And everybody knows their role. Every time something happens that throws them off, so maybe like the Miami Heat wins and no one expected that they were going to win and they're coming up against the Lakers. Well, the Lakers coach is going to say, oh, snap, I thought we were going to be playing Golden State Warriors. Now we're going to be playing the Miami Heat. We need to change up our strategy a little. That happens to you when all of a sudden it's hurricane season a little earlier, or hey, look, a pause in travel called a pandemic. So you're like a coach. And imagine if each of the players on your team, if you change those out and they were actually areas of marketing strategies. So one was your social media, one was your email marketing, one was your podcasting. So all of the players play a very specific role. And so I just think it's really interesting. Go back and read it because it's very relevant to you. And I think it would definitely be helpful. Okay, next, let's have a look. So you'll email out travel opportunities that you get from your focused suppliers to either a portion of your email list or your whole email list. So let's unpack that because there's a bit there. A travel opportunity in my world, those of you who have been with me for a minute will know, I do not ever want you, as your coach, I'm begging you to never call deals and promos and discounts and offers by those names. They're essentially cuss words in marketing, because the minute that you start offering, in the travel industry at least, hey, I've got a travel discount, I've got a travel promotion, I've got a travel offer, I've got a BOGO. The minute that you start doing all of this price-centric marketing and price-centric language, guess what happens? You actually start attracting price-centric clients. Now, here's the thing about price-centric clients. They love to DIY travel. They love to price shop. And they're also known, they got a nickname, as tire kickers. So if you're attracting those, let me know in the chat if you're attracting any of those kinds of people who price shop, or they come to you and they say, I've already got this price. What do you think? Can you match it? Can you do better? That's possibly because you might most likely, chances you don't, but most likely that you have pricing or any of those kinds of words somewhere in your social media or on your website, or you've said it. Because if you don't show any of that, you get very little, if any, of that. Okay. So that's some great advice there. Let me know in the chat, do you need to do a quick audit later today of your social media and website and go scanning for travel cuss words? If you do, let me know in the chat. Say, yes, I need to do that. Okay, because that's a definite takeaway from today. That will stop you from receiving those people. Archive those posts or delete those posts. So I call them travel opportunities. You see them there. So that would sound something like when you email it out, hey, everybody, it's Sandra here, and I have an amazing travel opportunity that just came across my desk from a super fantastic cruise line. doing some great trips out of Europe, great itineraries out of Europe. So if you are up for a vacation, willing to book by this date, ready to travel between this date and this date, interested in visiting this, and this, and having experiences like this, and this, click here to make an appointment in my calendar. Pricing starts at $2,200 per person for 7 days, all inclusive on board. And then in brackets, excluding shore excursions and gratuities, something like that. Okay, so that's like a travel opportunity email. You don't mention the cruise line. Do you know what cruise line that was? You don't, because I didn't tell you. You don't mention the cruise line. You really put it out there that, you know, here's all the information. So if someone's going to contact you, they're either going to say, yes, I meet all that criteria. We are ready to travel during those dates and we are ready to book by this date. And if they're not, they'll say, hey, we're not ready to travel in these dates, but do you know if there's anything for September? That's not a bad thing, is it? So those are travel opportunity emails. Inside of Travel Marketing Revolution, we're going to talk a lot about that. Okay, so what is next? An email subscriber responds to your email with an appointment, a call, or a reply email. So then at some stage, this email subscriber becomes a paying client. I have a video that I want you to watch at the end of this training. I'm going to show you. It's a really quick video, like maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And it is a travel advisor. His name is Dave Natala. He's awesome. Dave already had $1 million sales business when I met him. I think he was maybe doing 1.5 million easily in river cruise sales. He's a river cruise specialist. And he went through Travel Marketing Revolution, our course. And in this video, he talks about this concept of sending out an email every single week. And he was very adverse to it in the beginning because he didn't really think that it would help him. You don't know what you don't know, right? And I think everybody's initial response is like, oh no, people are going to unsubscribe. But anyway, he talks about it and he says now it's more often than not, somebody will reply to an email saying, hey, I saw your email about XYZ. Pam and I are ready to go on this date. Or I saw your email about Can you put us on the list? And he said, it's just astounding how many people respond to the call when you put emails out there. So not every email, like I said, is a sales email. It's just as and when. Okay. So they become a paying client and then you get to charge your planning fee, research, and book. Alrighty. So that's from a client's perspective or a customer's perspective. Now let's have a look at it from a business owner's perspective because it looks a little different. So this is what it looks like for your business. So this is your travel business marketing funnel. Now, you may have a little bit of a funnel in your business right now, or you may have nothing at all. See these little tan arrows just here? I want you to think of those as the clients that you would absolutely love to have. So ask yourself, let me ask you, who is a client that you have had that you absolutely loved working with? Maybe they were just your dream client. They booked the kind of travel that you want to sell. They are so interested in all the destinations that you love to talk about or that you love to send people to. They love the kinds of experiences that you want to sell. They acted like a really, really great client. What was their first name? Can you drop that into the chat? The first name of that client. Now, if my travel advisor is in here, Melissa, I expect to see Sandra. So there's always that one client. And if you haven't had that client yet, just write in the chat and say, I haven't had that. Well, actually, if you haven't had that client yet, think to yourself, do I have any family or friends of friends? Or is there a celebrity on TV or like an actor or a musician that is kind of represents that person? I would like to book lots of that person. So I love this. All the names coming up now. So let's pick up. LaTanya said Denise. So there was something about Denise or many things about Denise that you loved. Tell me in the chat, everybody, what is it about that person? What is it about Peter, about Dave and Sue, about Heidi, about Doug, about Christine, about all of these names? What is it about that person that made you amazing? Like just amazing. And what made them amazing for you? Maybe they got back to your emails really quickly. Maybe they had the right budget for the type of travel they wanted to do. Because you always have like champagne drinkers on a beer budget. So maybe that was it. Maybe they we're just really happy to let you have a lot of creative license with the itinerary. So lots of different things coming up here. Let's see. Globe Sage Travel says they want amazing experiences and are willing to pay for it. They aren't constantly questioning me and they want to hand it over and they trust me. I love that. They're not constantly questioning you. Lindsay says they knew their travel goals and were respectful of my time. Wow, when you were booking them. Sherry, hi Sherry, says very easy to work with and always chose an option that I suggested. Andrea says they understand my value and they send me like-minded referrals. Love that. Amy says they have the budget, they're not picky, and they let me help them. And the last one is Julie. She says they know they actually read what you send them. I love that. So all of these people are your perfect ideal client. So now I want you to ask yourself, what would happen if all of these tan-colored arrows here were all just like that person? All of them are just like that person. So that's the goal, right? Is to attract all your clients just like that person. So we have 3 levels in our marketing funnel. We have the top of funnel, the middle of funnel, and the bottom of funnel. The top of funnel is where we turn strangers into email subscribers with a strong lead magnet. So that's similar to that PDF that I downloaded, 100 foods in the first 100 days. We promote that lead magnet everywhere your ideal client will see them. So that girl, remember, she put it on Pinterest. I'm sure she'd put it in lots of other places. Actually, I heard her as a guest on a podcast because she pinned about it and posted about it. And I think I got an email saying, hey, I was a guest on XYZ podcast. And so she was really putting herself out there. And on the podcast episode that I listened to, she was a guest. I remember her saying, oh, don't forget to go across to my website and download 100 foods in 100 days. And I thought, okay, she's good at this. And I'm sure that she grew her email list with people just like the ideal client that she wants to have, people just like me. So then that's the top of funnel. So remember, that's where you churn people from being a stranger into an email subscriber. Then in the middle of funnel, so just look over to the left, this whole section on the left is about the middle of funnel. This is where you show off expertise and authority. This is where people decide if they're actually going to give you their money. They don't make the decision at the top. They actually make the decision when they're in the middle of the funnel. At the bottom, where they decide to start paying, that's not where they make the decision if they're going to give you the money. That's where they make the decision, am I going to go on this trip at this time? The decision as to whether or not they want to work with you gets made right here in the middle. So this is where you're going to show off your expertise and your authority. And this is where they're going to decide if you get to have their business. So we have a full strategy for you to follow. It absolutely works. It works for us. It works for every travel advisor who does it properly. So if you are sending out consistent content, and it doesn't have to be a blog or an article, it could be a podcast episode, it could be a link to a video, it could be oh my gosh, it could be an itinerary, a Travify itinerary. You might send that out and say, take a look at this really great itinerary we put together this week. This is full of incredible experiences that you can have in the region of Tuscany in Italy, and also captures a couple of the big ticket cities that you might want to visit. If you have any questions about Italy, or if Italy is on your bucket list, click the button at the bottom. Let's have a quick chat, or reply an email, or give me a call. So those are the kinds of things. That kind of content is really critical. It's not the sales opportunity, the travel opportunity that I told you about before. That is an ad hoc, random, on a different day of the week. So maybe your weekly content goes out every Wednesday. Yeah. Every Wednesday, your weekly content goes out. Well, maybe on Friday afternoons, Friday evenings, you might send your whatever travel opportunity you have, so that people get it over the weekend and can action it. And then down in the bottom, you see here, turn subscribers into paying clients when you share travel opportunities from your favorite suppliers by email. So you would never post those on social media. You would only email them, because remember, when we post price-centric things, we get back price-centric people. So that's what that's what a funnel looks like if you were to have one in your business. So this is kind of like the overview, right? But we need a step-by-step, okay? So I'm going to show you a blueprint of kind of a little bit more detail than the 3 levels, and then I'm going to show you an actual list, all right? So this is a step by step by step by step. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to know who your ideal client is. That is 1000% what you need to know first, who your ideal client is. If you do not have a very clear idea of your perfect kind of client, this is going to be really tricky. Today, I'll also give you a video to watch after this. Matt explains it really well. He's a travel advisor, and he says, we used to sell anything to anyone and everything to everyone. Is anyone else like this and thinks to themselves, oh my gosh, I absolutely don't want this? Because it makes it really difficult. He says, once we narrowed down and we said, you know what, we're going to focus on this type of travel or this type of client, it made it a lot easier, because not only did it make marketing easier, it made decision making easier. So knowing who you are going to serve and what your niche is going to be is absolutely critical. And I can tell you, I do not know a single travel advisor that sells anything to anyone and everything to everyone and is making tons of money and not burned out. I don't know of that person. I do not know anyone, not one. And listen, we've got tens of thousands of travel advisors in our community, and I don't know a single one of them. When I think about it, I don't know a single one of them that is making 100, 150,000 minimum for themselves, not for their business, for themselves. That's how much they get paid, six-figure salary, who sells anything to anyone or everything to everyone. So I'm going to ask you to be a little bit vulnerable and trust me here. Can you let me know in the chat, is this you? Do you need to stop doing this? Oh my gosh, Alana, you're the best. Alana says, I need to stop doing this. I need to stop doing this. Thank you, Alana, for being so honest. Who else? Travel Arc says, I'm currently a sell anything. Okay, so let me know in the chat. There's nothing wrong if that's where you are now. You don't know until you know, right? It's really, really difficult to sell anything to anyone and everything to everyone, because when you're out looking for clients, where do you look? Where do you find them? If you know who you're looking for, you know where to find them. Think of it like a giant big fishing net, yeah? If you have a giant big fishing net and you know exactly the type of fish that you want to catch, say you want to catch sea bass, you know exactly where sea bass is caught, you know what time of year it's caught, you know where to find it, you know how to handle sea bass. But if you're saying to yourself, I just want to catch any fish, I'm cool to go down to the edge of the water and put out a net and just drag it around and just see what happens, you're going to struggle a little bit. Yeah. So even if you have a smaller net, even if you're only fishing in one particular area, if you know where to fish and you know what you're fishing for, you're always going to do better. I really want you to consider that. I love that people in here are being super honest and upfront here. Yvonne says, I'm trying to define my niche. I think it's river cruising, but I'm brand new. Lillian says, hi, Lillian. She says, I need to stop doing this. I'm starting to understand this concept. Andrea said, I'm slowly starting to be more selective and focusing on my niche. Amy says, I'm fairly new, so I'm still trying to define my ideal client, but I love my first client and I want more of her. Someone else says, I do because I would be afraid a good client would leave to go with the agent that will book what they are looking for. Okay. And then this is interesting. Lynn says, if someone comes to me with something very specific, I will sell to them, even if it's not my niche. My social media, newsletters, etc., focus on my niche. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's a really interesting concept. I saw recently a travel advisor who does multiple millions of dollars in sales. He was on a platform, on a stage, on a panel, and he said 80% of the travel that he books in his agency is his niche. 20% his niche and his ideal client. 20% is the stuff that they want to do that's not inside of his niche. Like it might be all of a sudden, he does river cruising, all of a sudden a trip to Mexico with the grandkids, but he will always serve that 80% of his clients with the 20% of their requests. And because it keeps them, and he will let some people come in to that 20% brand new off the street, as long as they're very clear, hey, we don't usually do this kind of travel, happy to do it for you, but this is what we specialize in. But if they were to turn around and be like, oh no, we're Disney all year round, that's all we do, we just do Disney, 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 and we try to get a different group every year, then he knows not to take them in. So I think that that's really critical. Let me tell you, when I first started my business, I served anyone and everyone. I could do websites and marketing for TV producers, for security companies, for fashion designers, for chefs, for food companies like Expedia was even their campus cafeteria was even a client of mine. So I would do anything for everyone. Here's the problem. When I was looking for new clients, do you know how hard it is to find more when you're doing such variety like that? I didn't know where to look. And then someone said to me, and I was only like maybe 6 months into my business. It was so hard, you guys, so hard. I was having to say to myself, like, oh my gosh, I need to make 3 sales a month. I need to do 3 websites a month, because that's how I started doing websites only. I need to do 3 websites a month. The first website's going to go to rent. The second website's going to go to bills and debt. And the third website is going to be like food and living. And if I didn't get 3, I'd be in trouble. And it was that constant feeling of living client to client, which is the same as living paycheck to paycheck. And then someone turned around and said, girl, you have like 80 at the time. They were like, you have like 17, 18 years of travel industry experience. Why all of a sudden are you not working with that? And I said, well, I think it's too small a niche to help travel advisors. I just don't think that there's enough travel advisors. And I don't know that there's enough that would want to work with me. And that person said, I think you'd be really surprised. So I did a little research and I found out that there were over 100,000 travel advisors in the US, and also many, many, many in Canada and other countries around the world. And actually, you know what? That's a lot easier for me. So as soon as I decided that I was going to stay in the travel industry and work 100% with travel advisors, it got really easy for me to figure out where to find them. So I started partnering with organizations like ASTA, host agencies, consortia. Maybe I've spoken at one of your consortia events, or maybe one of your host agency events. I partner with tourism boards. Maybe you saw me at the Jamaica Tourism Board, a 3-day event last week. Maybe you saw me in person in Chicago last week because I did something for an amazing host agency association. So when your niche is very, very clear, it's very easy to find your people. Okay. I hope that helps you to understand how much easier it is. And it's not just my business, it's in general, everybody's business. There's a reason why Macy's does not sell houses. That's just not their niche. Okay, so then you're going to figure out some kind of a lead magnet, right? So obviously we're not going to talk about how to do that now. We're just talking about the actual steps to do it, to have a funnel. But a lead magnet can be something as simple as a PDF. It could be a PDF, it could be a video, it could be an audio recording. There's lots of different options there for your lead magnet. Basically, it's just giving a piece of content that's so good in exchange for someone's email address. And you know, when you've got a really good lead magnet, when you think this is really good, I should charge people for this, but you don't. So a really good example of a lead magnet, and make sure that your lead magnet is directly related to your niche. So say, for example, you do destination weddings. You could say, I'm going to do a PDF of 20, next year, 2024. So say 24 destinations to consider for your destination wedding in 2024. That might be it. So then you'll list out all the 24 destinations where you want to book destination weddings, and it might be countries, it might be by region, and then why those are so great. You're not listing properties or anything like that. Someone who knows that they want to have a destination wedding next year is going to love that download. Or you might do a PDF of how to decide the right destination for your wedding and how many people you should invite and what your budget should be. And it might be a quick article there, and it shows off your expertise. Okay, so the lead magnet can be really difficult. And I will say, Travel Marketing Revolution, our course, we've had it now for 8 seasons. Season 9 opened today, actually. For those of you who have been emailing asking, when can I enroll? Today. Right now, actually, you can. And, well, you don't have the link, so you can't. We'll give it to you later. But seasons 1 through 8, I taught them how to do lead magnets, and we had hundreds of travel advisors smash lead magnets. They're just doing so well. They're just building, and I'll show you later on someone who talks about how she gets 5 to 10 email subscribers every day. And 5 to 10 doesn't sound like a lot, but they're the people who want to do exactly the type of travel that she wants to sell. They're exactly those little tan arrows, those people. They're all the same. They all love to hand over. They all want to give her creative control. They all want to trust her. They all want to do the same kind of travel. They all have the same budget. So getting 5 to 10 of those on her email list every day, well, she's really happy about that. It's not millions of people on an email list or hundreds or tens of thousands every week, but 5 to 10. Would you be happy? Would you be happy to get 5 to 10 new leads every single day? Because some of those people might wait 2 years before they book travel with her. Some of them might book travel in 2 days. You never know. It actually depends not so much on her, but it depends more on when they took their last vacation, when they're taking their next vacation. She basically inspires them every single week and keeps top of mind and top of speed dial by being in their inbox every week. So the good news is, for season 9 of Travel Marketing Revolution, we just found, I came up with in 2 weeks ago in San Juan, I had the biggest aha moment that it literally gave me whole body goosies. I came up with a lead magnet idea and tactic that works for every single travel advisor, and it's very easy to implement, and it is, I believe, higher converting. We're still waiting on more numbers to come in, and because we always like to measure things, higher converting than anything else. So for those of you who are in Travel Marketing Revolution, we'll be working with that and showing you that. There's no guesswork. It's here, do this. And then you go away and you do it. And then that is your lead magnet. And if it's up to you to make sure that it's directly related to what you want to sell, but we help you to figure out who you want to sell to, what you want to sell, and how much you want to sell before you even get to that step. So that's why it's really critical when you're trying to get more clients to ask yourself, what am I trying to sell? Which suppliers am I trying to sell? Okay, well, who am I trying to sell to? Because say, for example, you're trying to sell all-inclusive 4- and 5-star properties in the Caribbean and Mexico. You can't sell that to anyone because not everyone has that budget. Say you're trying to sell Silver Sea. Has anyone ever sold a Silver Sea cruise or been on a Silver Sea cruise? They are top of the line. They brand themselves as 6-star luxury, and it's fully inclusive. But I'm talking fully inclusive to a whole nother level, including alcohol, including shore excursions, including gratuities, including internet, fully inclusive. I actually think from memory, I interviewed one of the executives from there 2 weeks ago. I think it might even include transfers, but it is fully inclusive. So if you don't know who your ideal client is, but say, for example, you know that you want to sell Silver Sea, who is their ideal client? Who are they selling to? Because that tells you exactly who you need to sell to. So how do you find out who they're selling to? Go and have a look at their marketing, have a look at their social media, have a look at their website, have a look at their brochures. I actually order brochures and get them sent to my house when I'm really trying to figure out who their ideal client is. That will tell you everything. Okay, EMP, that is your email marketing platform. Email marketing, oh yes, it does include flights. Silver Sea, email marketing platform. This is the tool that you will use to send out emails. So we use a tool called ConvertKit. Do you want to pop the Smart Tools link in the chat? I have a page on our website. It's a free resource where we list out all of the tools that we have ever used that we really love, and we list them on there. We do get affiliate commissions for some of them, just want to be totally upfront, but I'm also very upfront in saying that we have used every single one of them, and we only put up the ones that we have used and currently use. So you'll find for email marketing platforms, Flowdesk, MailerLite, and ConvertKit listed there, and I describe the difference between them and how you would pick one. You do need to have an email marketing platform. You cannot send emails to your list through Gmail or Outlook or anything else. It's not legal. Okay, next, you need to have a landing page. So a landing page essentially is just a page on a website. So if you don't have a website, you can create a landing page in your email marketing platform. How great is that? If you hate your website, or maybe your website's not controlled by you, it's controlled by your host agency or consortia, you could build a landing page on your email marketing platform, and we'll show you how to do that. But you need to have a place where people can land, where they can land and find more information. They can sign up for your lead magnet, learn more about it, understand what the benefits are, and then a second landing page to say, great, you've signed up for it. Now this is, here's more about my business. You then need to have a nurture sequence. A nurture sequence is a sequence of emails between 3 and 7 emails. I usually say 5 to 7, but sometimes there are some niches where 3 emails is really good. between 3 to 7 emails, I will say, that really introduce the concept of what you do, and they're purely educational. Now, this is where I was saying before, don't send a sales email in the first 6 weeks. I would say don't send any sales emails in your nurture sequence. And I didn't want to say that before because we hadn't talked about nurture sequences, and I always try to train you very methodically. So I would never send a sales email in my nurture sequence. So we have a nurture sequence that is 2 emails long. It's a welcome email and then another email. If we are currently open for enrollment, like right now with Travel Marketing Revolution, we only open twice a year for 1 week. And that means that for the other 50 weeks a year, it is not open. That means that during those 2 weeks where enrollment is open, one at the start, one at the end, or kind of, they're like half a year apart. If you joined our email list during enrollment week, you would not get any emails about enrollment week because it's too much. Does that make sense to you? Like imagine like enrollment open today. So imagine if you found me tomorrow and you came in and my first email tomorrow, there's going to be a huge email going out, maybe even today, saying, hey, Travel Marketing Revolution's open. We have a huge wait list actually of people who want to be notified. Not a wait list, but like a notification list. But imagine if I also sent that out to someone who just joined my email list today. You don't want to do that. So I always say never send out a sales email, so a travel opportunity, to someone who's still in your nurture sequence. So let me give you an example of a really good nurture sequence. And let's go to river cruising. I try to switch around to different niches. So river cruising. River cruising requires a very strong nurture sequence because if you don't have that, people are not going to get river cruising. Most people who are a good match for river cruising don't know it. They are people who do all-inclusive resorts, the 5, 4.5, 4-star and above. They're people who do ocean cruising, and they're people who like luxury hotels, and people who love traveling in Europe and want to do the exotics maybe in South America or Asia or Africa. All those people are low-hanging fruit for river cruises. They just don't know it. I had never heard of river cruising until a few years ago. And it just never crossed my path. And I've been in the travel industry for 20 something years. And you probably think, well, how is that possible? It just wasn't in my circle. It just wasn't on my radar. I was an ocean cruise person and yeah, it just wasn't on my radar. So a nurture sequence for a river cruise travel advisor would firstly start by explaining, maybe the first email on the first week might be the difference between ocean cruising and river cruising. Now, you're not trying to smash ocean cruising. You just want to point out the differences. For example, can't get sick on a river cruise because there are no waves. You'll never line up for anything on a river cruise. Not food, not shore excursions, not getting on or off the ship. It might be the size, number of people traveling on board. Never more than 140 or 150 people on board. It might be that there's no sea days, that every day you're in port and that you mostly pull up right in the middle of downtown. So you'll start to point out those differences, that river cruising takes you through places, whereas ocean cruising takes you to them. River cruising has usually only 1 or 2 restaurants, or only 1 restaurant on board usually, whereas ocean cruising will have many, many restaurants, but river cruising uses locally sourced food and has local menus most of the time. So if you're cruising through Austria, you'll get Austrian food on your menu with Austrian produce. So that kind of an email is a great nurture email. The next week, you might send an email saying, what are the 3 main rivers that first-time river cruises go on? And you'll list them out. The next week, it might be, what does a typical day on a river cruise look like? Because most people, if you've never been, you wouldn't know. I was shocked when I went on my first river cruise. The next one might be how to decide, what would the next one be? The type of shore excursions that you get on river cruises and the type of experiences you can have. So you see there, we've got different, one might be planning tips, like how far out to book, what the difference between booking to go to Europe to do a river cruise in France in the summer, where you get to go and see the beautiful lavender fields and it's just like beach weather, versus going in November or December, which is no swimming, but it's Christmas markets. So you might have that kind of an email. That is a nurture sequence, okay? So it doesn't matter if someone joins your email list tomorrow. So remember I said to you, someone might join tomorrow my email list. They will start at email number 1 in my nurture sequence. Then they'll go to email, next week they'll get number 2. The next week they'll get number 3. Then they'll get number 4. Then they'll get number 5. And it just goes like that. Someone who joins joined 3 months ago is already finished that nurture sequence, okay? Already finished that nurture sequence, and they're now just getting their regular weekly emails. So that's what a nurture sequence is just there. Let's move along. Weekly content is what people get after they have finished in the nurture sequence. And this is where you just talk about destinations and experiences, only destinations and only experiences. And then, of course, the last thing is to promote your lead magnet. Promote your lead magnet. That is the number one thing that people don't do. Travel advisors don't do that they should be doing more of. I would say about 80% of travel advisors who have a lead magnet don't promote it. So these are definitely the bits and pieces. So now you're thinking to yourself, well, this is good, but what do I actually have to do? Well, I've broken it down into a checklist for you that I think is really going to help. So you can do this by yourself. You can pay people to help you do this. You can, if you have a team, you can get them to help you. I'm guessing most people don't have a team in our community. I would say probably 90% of travel advisors are just solo in their business. They don't have a team. But this is the order. These are the 11 steps that you would take to get your marketing funnel in place so that you can have a consistent stream of new clients. Because if you always have strangers coming into the top of your email list, the same way if that lady always has new people downloading her top 100 foods, then she's always going to have new clients, right? So number one, you'll create your lead magnet. Number two, you'll test your lead magnet with people who are your ideal client. So you might just send it to someone who is a friend who would be the kind of person that you would want to book, and say, hey, what do you think about this? And she might be like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not really something that I would download. And you'd be like, why? Well, I wouldn't really want to download things to take in my carry-on bag because I pack my own carry-on bag for a flight and I'm kind of happy with it. Like I don't know, I would kind of expect something different. So that's not going to be that helpful. Whereas it might be 12 differences between ocean. Someone in our community, she's amazing. She has this lead magnet. It's called 45 ports of call that you can only visit on a river cruise, not on an ocean cruise. So she promotes that everywhere. Like if she's speaking at something, if she's got a trade, like an expo booth, if she's running social media ads, she's pinning on Pinterest, anything that she's doing, she will always promote that. Hey, go and download this, go and download this, go and download this. You have to promote your lead magnet wherever your audience hangs out, wherever your ideal client hangs out, offline and online. And if you're struggling as to where you should promote it, one of two things is wrong. Either you don't know your ideal client well enough because you don't know where they hang out, or you're not thinking outside the box in terms of promotion. And I'm talking about getting dressed and getting out of your house. So think about the places that I go to promote myself. Last week, I did 3 webinars where I knew my ideal client would be, and none of them had, I think 5 people had heard from me out of the like 300 and something that were there. Last week, I went to Chicago and I spoke on stage in front of people who were my ideal client. Last year, I was on Amy Porterfield's podcast, and she has travel advisors that follow her. So not everybody is my ideal client in her audience. It's actually only a really tiny percentage, but I was a guest on her podcast. I've done that a couple of times. I might take out advertising in the ASTA annual magazine because I know that travel advisors are going to see it. So you really have to think to yourself like, oh, I run ads on social media. You have to think to yourself, where are they going to see this? So if you're not sure where to promote, it's because you're probably not 100% clear on who your ideal client is and where they hang out online, what kind of content they consume online, or what kind of events they go to. You absolutely have to have some skin in the game in order to get the results. So number 3, after you kind of test your lead magnet with someone who you know would be like a good ideal client, and you're really just asking them, would you download this? Or what kind of, if you wouldn't, what would you want to get that you would be like, oh, wow, I would totally download that. Number 3, email your lead magnet out to your existing email list. So you might have 5 people on your email list. You might have 3 people on your email list. Could be like, it's okay. I started with 0. Can you tell me right now, actually, how many people do you have on your email list that you think would be your ideal client? Or maybe tell me how many on your email list and if they are your ideal client or not. When I started, I had 0. So don't be shy. If you have 10 people on your email list, that's okay. If you haven't started an email list, I want you to say not started yet. because you just haven't started it yet. Okay. Shannon says 0. That's okay, Shannon. You know what the good thing about having 0 is? If you have like only a few, like I'm saying less than 100, it's actually really helpful. 0 is super helpful. It means you don't have the wrong people on your email list. It means if you have like a small number, you can actually go through and take off people who you know for sure are not your ideal client. So don't worry if you only have an itty bitty email list, because I started with 0. We all started with 0. I am no Oprah Winfrey. I can't just put myself out there and millions of people sign up for my email list. I remember the first day that Oprah opened her email list and it broke. Her website broke. We're not those people. We're just regular people. So we just grow our email list a little bit at a time. Okay, so then you're going to, after you've done that, you email it out to the people that you have on your list. If you don't have people on your list, that's okay. You'll skip that step. Number 4 is that you create an opt-in form on your email marketing platform. So an opt-in form is really just a form where people can enter their name and their email address. And when they enter that into your form that you create, it's like a little online form, they automatically get added to your email list. And that opt-in form then has a few little automated tasks, a few tasks that happen automatically without you doing anything. So it would confirm that person on your email list, add them to your email list. It would send them an email that you've written earlier. Just have to write it one time saying, thanks so much. Here's what you requested to download, or here's the information. And then it would automatically pop them into your nurture sequence, which you've written. You have those 3 to 7 emails that you've written, and send them one every single week on the same day every week. You as a human cannot possibly do those tasks for every single person. Can you imagine getting a new subscriber tomorrow and then sending them the PDF that they wanted to download, and then sending them that welcome email, and then next week remembering to send them email number 1 in your nurture sequence? We're not cut out for that. We're just human. It would never work. So you really want to have all of those things set up, and they're not difficult as individual pieces. You just don't know how to do them yet. Okay, so you'll have your opt-in form, then you'll create a page on your website promoting your lead magnet. Again, if you don't have a website, there are workarounds. You can create a landing page in your email marketing platform. Now, I have to tell you, some email marketing platforms are good and some are not good. I will definitely encourage you, if you're on MailChimp, to get away from MailChimp. MailChimp has the most flexible rules, or the least amount of rules, when it comes to uploading your email list. So think about this. If somebody was wanting to run some kind of a scam and they have hundreds of thousands of people on their email list, MailChimp is not really strict. It allows people to upload email lists and doesn't really question where they got the list from. Other platforms are super strict. So for example, when I was switching, I was bouncing around between 3 different systems trying to find like what was best for me at the time. And it's really easy when you move, because you just download your list and then upload it somewhere else. I remember at the time, I had maybe about 12,000 subscribers, and ConvertKit said, I'm sorry, we can't upload this. We need to know where you got these. Can you send proof? And I was like, proof? So thankfully I was coming from MailerLite, a different platform. So I just showed a screenshot of MailerLite and put that in there. So they were like, okay, no problem. You just moved across. Or they said you could just show that you spoke at a conference, for example, and you could show the ad for the conference. Like you could show that website, a screenshot. They just wanted to know that those people had chosen to come into my list and that I wasn't spamming people. Because MailChimp doesn't have strict rules, the email providers like Gmail, Outlook, definitely workplace emails, absolutely 1,000% government emails. But those email providers, they are really strict with any emails that have been sent using MailChimp, and they will often send it. If you have a Gmail account, you know how you've got like social, promotions, and primary inbox. You want your email to land in someone's primary inbox, right? Most likely they're going to send it and it's going to end up in it will always end up in the promotions inbox or in the junk folder. And the problem with that is, if you're working so hard to grow your email list and the majority of your emails are ending up in junk or spam, it's like you never existed. So for that reason, if you're on MailChimp, I strongly recommend you to switch to something else. Whatever the reason is that you're on MailChimp, you can find that same reason on that same thing on another platform. Okay, so then You'll have that. So number 6 is you'll create a hidden page on your website to deliver your lead magnet. This is just if you want to post up the PDF or put all the information. If you don't want to do that, you can just have an email automatically send it as an attachment. That's totally fine too. Number 7 is create a segment in your email marketing platform with the title of your lead magnet. And so the reason that we're doing this is, say, for example, remember back to the woman who did 100 foods in 100 days. She would create a little like label, a label. Imagine like labeling a box or something. She would create a label, also known as like a segment or a tag. She would create a label saying, hey, everyone who clicks and download, like signs up for this, fills in my little opt-in form and signs up for this, I just want to keep track. So can you label all these people? So then if she wanted to email out to them, 3 years later, and say, hey, it's been a minute. Like, I'm not saying that she would leave at 3 years, but say 3 years down the track, she knows for sure these people are out of that phase. Their kids are fully grown out of this phase. She might say, I know that you're not currently in this phase anymore with the child that you had at the time. If you've got a new child, I'm glad you're still with us. If not, here is a friend of mine that I actually recommend switching to because she deals with 3 to 5 year olds, or maybe she's got new products that she can sell to 3 to 5 year olds. It's just always good to know. And then also if she suddenly wants to sell something at any given time to the people who downloaded that lead magnet because they're her ideal client, she can send it to just that group. Imagine like if you have a lead magnet about, ocean cruises, like about luxury ocean cruises or the difference between East Caribbean and West Caribbean itineraries on a luxury cruise ship. You could then, if you suddenly got a great deal come through from like celebrity and it was for Western Caribbean, you could send out an email to all the people who have ever downloaded that one lead magnet that you have about the difference between East and West, or the person who downloaded the lead magnet about luxury ships or luxury cruising. So you see what I mean? It just helps you to be able to figure out which piece of the pie you want to send an email to. Sometimes I send emails just to a piece of the pie and sometimes I send them to everyone. This morning I sent out a reminder email. Excuse me one second. This morning I sent out a reminder email 1 hour before we started. 1 hour before we started. And I would be silly to send that out to my entire email list. I just sent it out to the people who signed up. So we had around like 620 people sign up. About 200 knew that they were going to be on the live. Around 400 knew that they were going to watch the replay. Why would I send that email out to my entire email list? Thousands and thousands of people will get really mad. Okay. So number 7, create a segment in your email marketing platform with the title of your lead magnet. We did that one. Number 8, write and lay out a welcome email for people to sign up for your opt-in form. So we mentioned that before. When you have your little form ready to collect people's name and email address, you want to make sure that they get an email right away saying, hey, thanks, welcome. And then tell them over the next 4 weeks, I'm going to send you 4 amazing emails about destination weddings, how to pick the right destination, how to plan your budget out, how to manage all the people with all their opinions and your guest list, and then how to curate a really amazing itinerary on your destination wedding that your entire wedding party will never forget. Now, if they unsubscribe, that's fine. They're not the right kind of client for you because you're looking for the kind of client that wants to receive that content, right? Next is number 9. I'm just going to hide my face for a second so you can see this. Number 9, ensure that new leads are entered into the workflow where they will receive emails from you every single week. So you only have to set that up one time. And everyone who comes in and joins your email list, you can say, hey, when someone joins my email list, make sure that you send them the welcome email, then the nurture sequence, and then that they go into my week-to-week emails. Number 10, develop a comprehensive plan of where you're going to promote your lead magnet. Where you are going to promote your lead magnet. And then number 11, watch your opt-in numbers and ensure that it improves every month. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, Sandra, how many people is good to add to my email list? For those of you who have no subscribers on your email list right now, you might be happy just to get 5 a week, 10 a week. Once you start getting 5 a week or 10 a week every week, I want you to say to yourself, okay, I want to push for 15. So how do I promote a little bit more? But I'm just going to be super honest right now. The biggest mistake and the biggest reason for not having a consistent stream of new clients when you have a lead magnet or when you have a way to collect email addresses is not promoting. When you signed up to have a business, you signed up because you wanted to, you jumped on board for this because you were like, I want to book travel. I want to help people. I want to help people make amazing memories, and I want to travel myself, and I want to make money. You may not have realized the depth to which you signed on as a marketing person or a salesperson or an operations manager. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like signing up to be a parent. I sign up to love this child and nurture this child and mentor this child and feed and clothe this child. I never signed up to be an Uber driver. I never signed up for that. I never signed up to drive a kid around town all afternoon. I never signed up for that, but it's an essential part of being a parent, right? So I want to like give you some positivity after looking at that list, because I think right now some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. So overwhelmed. Let me know in the chat. Did that make sense? Number one, does it make sense? The concept of a funnel. That's the first thing I want to know for you. Tell me, does the funnel make sense? Strangers into email subscribers stay with you, might stay with you for a couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of years. And when they're ready, they book travel. Does that make sense? Does it make sense how you would put out some awesome piece of content that you'll promote everywhere where your ideal client hangs out and then convert them into email subscribers? Does it make sense, the nurture sequence, that you wouldn't just come right in and start talking about, here's this river cruise itinerary, here's that river cruise itinerary, that you kind of need to ease in. You need to ease in and be like, this is the difference between river cruise and ocean cruise. This is a typical day on a river cruise. These are the most popular rivers to cruise on. This is what you're going to get when you pick at different times of year. That kind of, all of this should be making sense. What doesn't have to make sense right now, and I'm glad Patrick said that. I'm going to put Patrick's comment up. Patrick nailed it. Funnels make sense, but I'm still not sure how to implement all of this. That's okay. If you expected to come today and to learn the entire concept of getting new clients for your business and how to execute every tiny little step, that's delusional. No, I don't mean it like that, but that's not possible. It wasn't possible for me. It's not possible for you. It's not possible for any human. What we want to do today is make sure that you get it and that you're like, wow, okay, now I can see why I've got to have a niche, because it's easier to figure out who my ideal client is. Now I can see why knowing my ideal client inside out is critical. Now I can see why having a small list of 6 to 10 suppliers is a lot easier than booking 50 or 100 different suppliers. Because when you are scattered, when you are spread thin, you cannot do a lot. I remember my mom saying when we were teenagers, we gave her a big run for our money. She used to say, I am spread thin. I never really understood what that meant. But now I get it. I get it in like a work-life balance context, but I also get it in terms of marketing. When you are spread thin, you can't easily pick up much because you don't have that capacity. When you don't have a really solid niche or a solid ideal client or a solid plan, and you don't have a marketing funnel in place, if you chose not to do any of this, can you still have a travel business? You can, but I'll guarantee you this, you will live client to client, which is like living paycheck to paycheck. When something like the pandemic comes around, you will not have an email list full of people who will help your business to bounce back. You will not have an email list full of people who are paying your planning fees. We have we have thousands of people in this community who make between $60,000 and $100,000 a year only on planning fees. But the only reason they can charge planning fees is because they have all their other stuff organized. They know who their ideal client is. They know what their niche is. They present themselves, like they put that out into the world. Their websites match what they want and their goals, so that when someone finds them, they are happy to pay that planning fee. And they're charging $200, $300, $400, $500 per client on planning fees. And these clients are happy to pay the fees because they finally found someone. I can't remember who said earlier in this feed, they said, I never want to unsubscribe from your email list, Sandra, because I haven't found anyone who does what you do. I want your clients, your email subscribers, to feel the same way about you, that they say, I will never, ever, ever unsubscribe from Julie's list because Julie sends me the most amazing content about travel. And I'm so inspired and I can't go right now, but I know that when I'm ready to book my next trip, it is Julie Shellman that I'm going to book with, hands down. Julie is top of mind every single week because on Wednesdays or Mondays or Saturdays, I get this email from Julie, and Julie's like, hey, this week we're talking about 3 incredible experiences to have in Austria, in Vienna, Austria. Or hey, this week we're talking about 5 hot destinations in Vietnam to visit and why. All of these emails are going to all align with what you're wanting to sell. Okay, so what I need you to really know right now, and I want you to leave with this feeling because we're at the end now. I'm going to answer a couple of questions. I'm going to tell you how to do that in a second. So if you've been asking questions throughout all of this, get ready because I'm about to ask you to give me the questions now because I'm not going to be able to scroll through. But I want you to actually go ahead and put your questions in. #question is how you've got to do it. #question, and then write your question. And I'm going to answer as many questions as I can as quickly as possible so that we can wrap up at 11:30 because that's the time that I asked you for, and I want to be respectful of your time. And it may also have to do with the fact that I have a flight at 1 o'clock, but not really. Okay, so I just want you to leave today. My goal as your new business coach and your new business mentor, if you want me to be in your world, then you have to commit to understanding why these strategies make sense, saying to yourself, I can do this, whether or not I learn it myself or someone else does it for me, and really acknowledging, as long as I understand the concept, it's okay that I don't know how to do it yet, okay? My baby came, while I'm waiting for your questions to come in, I'll tell you, my baby came home from school. He goes to preschool, and he came home last week, and he said, they were laughing at me. And I wanted to be like, who was laughing? Tell me, what's their mama's name? I was so upset because he was really upset, and his eyes were full of tears. He's so cute. If you haven't seen him before, that's him with his daddy. And he came home, this little face came home and said, they're laughing at me. And I said, why, Baba? Why are they laughing at you? And he said, because I put my shoes on the wrong foot. He said, always on the wrong foot. I try so hard. And one boy said, I'm stupid. And I was like, oh, wow. And then my eyes filled with tears, and I was like, shit, I'm sorry. I was so upset because, one, that kid Harry is an a-hole anyway. I see him at the school gates. But 2, I never want my child to feel like that, right? He's only 3. He's in preschool. He just learned how to put his shoes on when he was 1.5, 2, right? Harry is 6 at his preschool. Harry has no business telling Houston that he cannot put his shoes on and that he's stupid. So I said to him, what's the magic word? And when I was growing up, it was please, but it's not in our house. I said, Houston, what's the magic word? And he said, yet. I said, that's right, baby. You haven't learned yet. But when you were a baby, you didn't know how to walk, and you learned. You didn't know how to talk. Now you won't stop. You didn't know how to get dressed. Now you can put your shoes on. When you were a baby, you wore a diaper, and now you can put your pants on. You can now put your shoes on. You just don't know yet which foot, but you're learning. And it's going to be just fine. And if Harry says that you're stupid, say, no, Harry, I'm not stupid. I just don't know yet. I'm learning. And you walk away. And I was heartbroken. Like, I know that that's what I meant to do as a mom, but I was heartbroken. So I just want to say, to you that I really want you to remember that you never had a degree in this stuff. You never learned this stuff. I studied marketing. I studied business, and none of this was covered. None of this was covered because everything changes. I was in college, like I'm in my mid 40s, right? I'm surging to 50. None of this was covered when I was at school, right? So just remember, yet. I want you to tell yourself that, yet. Okay? I haven't figured out how to be on time for everything in my life yet. I'm getting better. Okay. So let me answer some questions. And before I answer questions, we are going to send you an email right after this. It's going to have the link for the replay. It's a 7-day replay, remember. It's going to have the slides to download. I'm also going to send you, actually, Ez, can you put the link in here for Revolution Foundations? I'm going to bring it up on my screen. I want you guys to go and watch these 3 videos. Ez is going to put the link in. I'm going to share my screen with you in just a second as it comes up. Okay, I'll just log out real quick of what I was in. Okay, there we go. Give me one moment. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to put this here. I want you to go and take a look at this. Okay, share this tab. Okay, so Ez is putting the link into the chat for you. This is travelmarketingandmedia.com/TMR, Travel Marketing Revolution Foundations. A lot of you knew that Revolution was opening today for enrollment. A lot of you knew that our course is $2,200. It is a big course that will give you huge value. But what you didn't know was that we're not selling our course this year at that price because we revolutionized Travel Marketing Revolution. I think you're going to be really, really happy for those of you who are here today specifically because you wanted to learn. So I want you to come in here today, have a look at all the different information in here. I wrote this myself, so you can think about my voice reading this to you. But one thing that I want you to know is I want you to really read what these people say that have been through this course, because they're in exactly the same situation that you are right now. They took this webinar last year, the year before that. And so read through all of this information here. And then these are the videos that I told you about. This is Dave. This is Melissa. She's actually my travel advisor. Dave is the person that I told you was doing over $1 million in sales. He has $1 million months now selling river cruises, and it's just him and his business. Then check out this video from Matt. Matt's the person who was selling anything to anyone and everything to everyone. And then this one to Nancy. Nancy is a good video to watch if you're the person that struggles to kind of put yourself out in front of your ideal client. Nancy thought she knew her ideal client, and then she realized she didn't. There's some FAQ in there as well. And then why this course is so good. And then if you want to, you can pop down and have a look at the outcomes for the course, what you're going to get, and the pricing. You'll see here we have changed the course and changed the price, and we've got some really great payment plans there. So I want you to have a look at that. Let me jump in and start answering your questions. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up. Okay, perfect. I love this. Everyone is saying this all made perfect sense. I just don't know how to do this. That's fine. That was all you needed to do today to make it all make sense. Okay, so first question was from Julie. Julie says, if we want to hire someone, how do you recommend we do that? So the first thing you need to know is you can do this. You have three options. You can do it yourself and just Google each individual step. There is nothing wrong with that. That's how I did it. I had to Google each individual step. Okay. Then you could try and find people to help you with individual tasks that are really outside of your skill set. So you might do a couple, then you might hire someone. The second thing you can do is you can pay someone to put together a marketing funnel. There are literally companies out there, we're not one. There are literally companies out there that will set up an entire marketing funnel for you. We did have a marketing funnel set up for us by a woman, I want to say like 3 years ago. It was before the pandemic, so it must have been 3 years ago. 3 years ago, it cost me $3,500, and she did everything from beginning to end. And that was on one product. It wasn't for my whole business, but I'd imagine that it would cost the same. I just chose one product. So you'd be looking around that price there between $3,000 and $5,000, but they'll do the entire thing for you. They'll just do it. The only thing I would suggest there, try and find somebody who knows the travel industry, because if they don't understand what a host agency is, what preferred suppliers are, if they don't understand the difference of commission that you get between this cruise line and that cruise line, or this resort and that resort, they need to know that so that they can help you to make the right decisions and they can ask you the right questions. That's the most important bit. And then also make sure that you check their references as well. So yes, you can absolutely do it yourself. Google each individual step. YouTube is awesome. You can figure out with YouTube videos. You can hire someone to do it. Or the third option is you can come and take Travel Marketing Revolution and we will show you how to do everything. Today, we taught you what to do. Travel Marketing Revolution shows you how to do it, literally step by step by step by step by step. Examples, samples, copy and paste, like right down to the bone. And what's really interesting is when I first started this course 8 seasons ago, I thought that everybody would take the course so they could do it themselves. But what was interesting is a lot of people took it, understood it, and said, you know what, now I understand 1,000% how my business is going to run. I'm now going to hire somebody to do it, but at least I know who to hire. I know the questions to ask. I know how to manage them. I know what to look for. I know how to troubleshoot in my own business. So those are your 3 options just there. Okay, next is it how to segregate the list, etc. That's tricky. Love those commissions with commas. when you say, is it how to segregate the lists? That is tricky. Segmenting your list is only possible, like splitting your list up into different like labels, putting labels on them, putting people in different boxes and putting labels on it. That's something that anyone can do that. Any email marketing platform can do that, but you have to have some way of labeling someone. So it might be how they came into your list. It might be something that they clicked on when you sent them. Okay. Next, is it possible to have a few niches effectively? For example, theme parks for family travel and all-inclusive for couples and adults. Lindsay, I love this question. Yes, ma'am. You can have as many niches as you want. However, you have to have a marketing funnel, Miss Lindsay, for each niche. So think about this. If you're going to put out there some content that to build your email list, if you want to build your email list, whatever you put out into the world for theme parks and families is very different to what a couple wants to see for a romantic getaway. My husband and I are taking a romantic getaway next month. He doesn't know it. It's a surprise for his birthday and for Father's Day because he rocks as a dad. And he doesn't know it yet. So my travel advisor, thankfully, she specializes in luxury romance travel. She's going to help us out, right? And the tourism board's obviously going to help us out too because they're our clients. But I only see from my travel advisor luxury travel stuff. I only see romance travel stuff. If I started seeing family travel stuff or backpacking through Europe or just safaris through Africa, that's not what I signed up to work with her for. I signed up with her for business travel and romance travel, right? If I want to go and choose somebody to do a safari in Africa, it's actually not going to be with my travel advisor. And she knows that. I'm going to go to someone who only does that as their niche. So just make sure that you realize that, you know what's a really good way to explain it? It's different, like they're different languages. It would be like putting out a lead magnet in Spanish and expecting everybody to come to it. Only people who speak Spanish and are interested in Spanish are going to respond to it. So just make sure that funnel that you had up there, you're going to need one for a funnel for each niche. Not a problem. Okay, next question from Samantha. How do I sign up for the full training for Travel Marketing Revolution? Go straight to the link. We were extremely generous with payment plans. We don't charge anything extra to do a payment plan. We literally broke it down into $96 payments. And that's pretty amazing because every other year you've never been able to do it like that. We're just trying to really help people who need that extra help. I would love to see you in there, Samantha, because you'll get coaching from me, live coaching. Okay, Lindsay, yep, I answered that one from Lindsay. Next question, Shannon. How do I ask current clients if they want to opt into my email list? So what I would do, I love this question, Shannon, is I would add all of your current and past clients, and I would put a tag on them, right? A label on them as you add them. So when you upload that list, your email marketing platform will allow you to do that. For whatever platform you have, just go and Google the instructions, how to segment, how to tag, and it will come up. Can you put the page up? Is it the help page? I think it's the help page, could be the Wix page, it might be the help page, wherever we've got all of the email marketing step-by-step instructions. For anyone who uses ConvertKit, MailerLite, or Flowdesk, I'm going to put up a link right now where you can have all the step-by-steps on your email marketing platform for free. We usually give this with paid courses, but go ahead and take that for free. I only have those because they're the ones that we use. And so send them out an email and say, hey, you're getting this email because I have either recently or in the past booked your travel. I'm starting this incredible new series of weekly travel inspiration. You'll start receiving it in the upcoming weeks. You can unsubscribe at any time. In the meantime, I'd love to know what you're thinking about for vacation this year. And then that allows them to be able to opt out. Okay. Carla says, question, is there a more detailed course on how to do all this? Travel Marketing Revolution could not be more detailed, Miss Carla. It is so detailed, so detailed. It's like I said, it's literally step by step how to do things. So for example, like lead magnet, we walk you through how to create a lead magnet, how to promote a lead magnet, how to, with the email marketing platforms, how to create your opt-in for, like it's all the things step by step. Okay, 365 Travel Co. Where do you put your lead magnets to find new clients? So that's what I was saying before. You need to know your ideal clients so well that you know where they hang out. I know what conferences my travel advisor community go to. I know what events they go to. I know who they follow online. Because you're thinking, well, my people don't all go to the same conferences. Fine. I know who my travel advisors follow online. I know what brands they follow online. I can run ads and say, show anyone who on Facebook says that they're in a travel industry that follows these brands. There are so many things that your ideal clients all have in common. So if you do family travel, go and look at Apple Podcasts and type in family, just the word family on Apple Podcasts, and you will find millions of podcasts about families. Start to get to know these podcasts, create genuine relationships with the hosts. And then one day when you're ready and you feel like that relationship is solid, ask them, say, hey, I'd love to be a guest on your podcast and to talk about the benefits of travel on families. There's somebody in our community in Travel Marketing Revolution who does family travel, and she's on a podcast for blended families. It's specific for blended families, this podcast. And so she talks about how travel can be a really, what do you call it? Like when you like fast pay, I don't know what the word is in English. Like when you do accelerated. An accelerated way to blend two families together is by going on vacation, because they say you never really know someone until you travel with them. So she went to this whole episode, and this person has millions of podcast subscribers. Do you know what that's done to her business? Because that podcast lives there forever, and she did that years ago. Okay, same question. Okay, great question from Coffee and Accountability. How do you create content without sounding mean or desperate? Okay, I can do a couple more questions. How do you create content without sounding mean or desperate? Question. So I love this. You create content about the destinations and experiences that are in alignment with what you want to sell. So if you know that you want to sell a ton of Caribbean and Mexico, every week, that piece of weekly content that goes out is going to be about the Caribbean and Mexico. So this week it might be all about one incredible experience to have in Jamaica for food lovers and cooks. And that's to go up to Walker's Wood and to do like the Spice Garden and the walking tour, and then to go to Scotchy's to have jerk chicken, and then to go to this XYZ beach and learn how to make hibiscus tea or something like that. These are 3 experiences that you can have if you really want to have a great experience in Jamaica that will connect you to the food. Okay, that's not, that email will never come across sounding desperate or salesy. It comes across making you sound like an expert, right? If you were desperate, you'd be like, here, book a trip to Jamaica, great savings, please book today, please ask me any questions you have, DM me, call me. That sounds really desperate. But if you put yourself out there and say, here's 3 incredible experiences to have for food lovers in Jamaica, people are going to click on that if they're your ideal client. Okay, next question. I can do 2 more, and then I am going to answer all the questions that you gave me, but I'm going to show you how to do that because I'm going to answer 100% of your questions. Okay, question. During the pandemic, the advice was to provide lots of free content and be in a place of service. Has that changed? No, my friend, it has not changed. I give free stuff all the time. Look at this training. I give free stuff all the time. On our app, we have a free course that's worth like thousands of dollars about planning fees. How do I know it's worth thousands of dollars? Because the return on investment would be, if I was charging it, would be thousands and thousands of dollars, because people who have taken that course are now making $60,000 to $100,000 in planning fees a year. So that's how I know it's worth that. It's worth tens of thousands of dollars, that course, but it's free. And the reason that you continue to give free content is because you have to prove yourself to people. There are people in this audience who have never been to a training with me. I have to prove myself today. So how am I going to prove myself? I'm going to go above and beyond, and I'm going to answer every dang question on here. Every single one, even the ones that come in on a replay, right? Because I want to prove myself to the people who don't know me yet, right? The people who have known me for a while, they know that my courses are good. They know that my training is good. But yes, that content absolutely helps you. Okay. Ooh, the hard question is going to be the last question, but keep your questions there because I want to show you how I'm going to answer them. Simply Europe travel. Ma'am, this is a hard question and there is a very good answer for it. Should I set this up and then drop all the emails Virtuoso sends on my behalf? So I'm friends with Virtuoso. That's the first thing I'll say. They're good people. I interviewed Cheryl Bunker on camera recently. Okay, here's the thing. Your host agency and consortia, if they are sending emails on your behalf, I just want you to have a little checklist of things that you can, questions to ask yourself. Number 1, do all of the leads always come back to you, or is it possible they go to other people? Number two, is there a way to only send out what is in alignment with your sales goals? So if you want to sell Caribbean and Mexico, is there a way to make sure that your clients are not getting safaris and Africa and South America, Machu Picchu stuff? If your business is entirely Caribbean and Mexico. And then number three, is it good enough content? Is it detailed enough to position you as an expert? So just ask yourself those three questions. And if you can't answer those three questions with the right answers, then yes, you'll want to start to put together your own content list, and then eventually like wean off other people's content, because when you have the hands at 10 and 2 on your steering wheel, you control the narrative of your business. You are in complete control of your business. When other people are doing marketing for you, they are in control of your business. Think about that for a second. Somebody else is doing your marketing. Who is in charge? Whose agenda is it? And like I said, I love virtuosos, so I'm not throwing any shade to them at all. Okay, how am I going to answer every single one of these questions? I'm glad that you asked. I have in here, let me grab the link. I have a little link, and what I want you to do right now, if you typed a question on the live, or if you're watching the replay, I want you to, hold on, where is it? Okay, here we go here. I want you to take this link. I'm going to pop it in the chat. And can you go across right now and pop your question inside of this link that I just put there? So it's like got forms in it. Can you see it right there? Please, if I did not answer your question, please go and copy and paste it there. Because you know what I'm going to do? Whether you're watching this live or on the replay, I'm going to answer it on the Travel Marketing Town Hall next week. I'm going to go live and I'm going to answer it. Okay. And so you'll be able to either catch that live or watch the replay. And I'll go into a lot of detail because I'll have time to go into a lot of detail today. So I put that in there. As also back on the page where you joined this event, I'm just going to pull that up on my screen for you. Let me go to, you'll be able to catch this live event. It'll be there immediately. It's actually already there. That's how good my team is, right? Okay, so go to this link right here that I put in the chat, travelmarketingandmedia.com/live-event. And I'm gonna bring it up on my screen so that you can see it. And then I'm gonna let you go. Okay. Oh, while I'm doing this, can I ask you to do me a favor? Number one, can I ask you to write for me #bestmoment? What was the thing that you're taking away today that just gives you excitement or joy or makes you excited or like is just clear? Like, is there something today that you learned that is just, oh my gosh, this is clear for me now? Wow, this is so clear. So #bestmoment and tell me, where did you find clarity today? Okay, while you're doing this is where you came to join us, right? There was a countdown here that came, and this is where you joined us today. Here's the replay. My team have already got it there for you. How amazing. And they're also going to put on here a couple of buttons. They'll be there. Oh, here. Just here, ask Sandra. You can actually put your questions just there, ask Sandra. Can you put another button on there, learn about Travel Marketing Revolution, or learn about our course? Learn about our course, put that on there, learn about our course. And then we can get rid of the enter the main stage button, and then people can click from there. And yeah, I'd love you to go and have a look at that course. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm gonna throw up some of your amazing moments. Okay, Ez is awesome. My whole team is awesome. I teach this in Travel Marketing Revolution, how to build your team, because I hired 60 people that didn't work out before I hired my current team, and I've had my current team now for a couple of years. We added Flora last year, but every single person on my team, I hope they never leave working for me and working with me, because I will tell you that one thing that they all have in common, they are all better at what they do than I ever could be, because I hired people who are really good at what they do. And they love this job as much as I need them here. They need this job as much as I need them here. Okay, perfect. Nikki says, I feel like I'm selling everything to everyone. I want to increase sales, but having a hard time niching down how I effectively niche while also increasing sales. It is hard because your bills have got to get paid. But what you can do is you can continue selling anything to anyone and everything to everyone, but only if you are putting in the work simultaneously to niche down. And then as that niche starts to build up, you will then push away all the ones that you don't want anymore. Andrea says, this has been so informative. Thank you so much. Andrea, I'd love to know what specifically got you today. Shannon says the whole landing page. Yes, that you don't even have to have a website. Samantha says the word yet. I know, right? My little baby, that's his word that I taught him. I thought magic word is please in every other family, but what if my baby learned yet? I wonder how that will impact him when he's older. Okay, best moment funnels for each niche. My dear, can you tell me how to pronounce your name phonetically? I would love to know. Either send me an email. I don't think I'll see it in the chat because there's so many comments. I hate not knowing how to pronounce somebody's name. Okay, Yvonne says best moment was creating a funnel and needing an email marketing campaign. Yes, ma'am. Stacy says nurture sequence is brilliant. Oh my gosh, Stacy. Goosies. Can't lie about goosies. 100% it is. I built my business. This business started with $40. It is a multi-million-dollar company now because of everything I taught you today. Not yet is the best. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Miss Joanne. Okay, Andrea says weekly nurturing emails. Awesome. Tammy says the blueprint and the checklist. You're welcome. And listen, if now you know what to do, but if you want to know how to do it, come and enroll in Travel Marketing Revolution. Simply Europe Travel. It gives me hope that I can get organized and take control of my leads. You can. You absolutely can. You just didn't know how to do it yet. Now you know what to do. Now you just got to decide, how are you going to figure out how to do it? Are you going to hire someone? Are you going to Google, watch YouTube videos? Or are you going to come and join us in the course? Brenda says the best is her magic word. Oh my gosh. You know, Janelle Monáe did a song on Sesame Street about it. Google Janelle Monáe Sesame Street yet song. It's so great. Julie says, I finally joined Revolution. I have regretted not doing it for the last 4 years. You joined today? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Julie. And go watch the videos. If the only thing you do before you leave today is to go watch the videos on that page, that's all I want for you to do. Okay. World of Wonder Travel. Best moment, how to post that adds value rather than seems desperate. Anne says, realizing that I am okay if this is outside of my comfort zone. I will get there eventually. That's your best moment. And can I tell you, magic never happens in your comfort zone. It never happens in your comfort zone. Never, never, never. You know, so I'm on TV 4 days a week and I'm always told to blow out my hair and have it lovely and blown out, like typical news anchor kind of stuff, right? There are very few women of color that wear their hair curly on television, and there's a lot of reasons, not good enough, why. And I have been way too scared to wear my hair curly on television. I actually have never done it, not once ever. And I showed up one day and the producer said, I'm going to need you to blow your hair out. So I did, because that's the industry that I'm in. And then I stopped wearing it curly forever. So for those of you who have been following me for like 5 or 6 years now, a lot of you have been with me for that long, you'll know that I have never worn my hair curly. And during the pandemic, I started doing it. And I was like, this is very uncomfortable for me. I don't like doing this. It's very uncomfortable, but I really just want to be me. Magic happens when you're not comfortable. Magic never happens where you're comfortable. Comfortable is where you stay, but it's also where complacency breeds. So you really have to step outside into it's like stepping into the HOV lane and not driving in the middle lane anymore, or in the slow lane. Okay, best moment, weekly nurturing emails. Okay, let me fly through this. We've got 1 more minute. Nurturing email information, Nikki. Two travel gurus. Love that name. I feel like I have support now. Just need a blueprint. I am savvy, just not with travel. You do have support. You are part of this community. Every single person here is now part of this community, and I am your business coach. Okay, Marianne says landing page and tags and blueprint and checklist and. So City, hi, Michelle. Michelle says supplier brochures will tell you who your ideal clients are. Yes, Michelle, order those brochures. I have them delivered to my house. You know me, Michelle. You know that I'm not a paper person. I love to do my best for the environment and reduce my carbon footprint. But brochures, I make an exception for. Brochures and bills, y'all. Okay, Coffee and Accountability says, I know what a marketing funnel is and how it works. Yes, ma'am, and it's going to work for your business. Enchanting Escapes, having the leads help create those different lists so that once you have a great travel opportunity, it's being sent to the right, down in the right funnel. Yes, can you imagine? Someone in our community who's in Revolution sent me a message recently saying, oh my gosh, I just sent out a travel opportunity about Waterways New Columbia program and I got 24 bookings. 24 bookings. And I was like, how long did it take? And he said 48 hours, 24 bookings, because he's been doing this weekly content every single week and he's been at it. And he fought me in the beginning. Okay, hey, Nelson, that picture, That picture is the best. Successfully charging professional fees. Nelson, go watch the free course that we have on our app. You can also watch it on our website, actually, too. Just click on online courses in the footer. I don't see the links you put in for questions. Okay, we'll go to the where you joined today, and there's Ask Sandra just there. Okay, Nikki says, I forgot to place the hashtag in my question. Nikki, if I didn't answer it, go and add it to the Ask Sandra button. Lindsay says, you cannot sell anything to anyone and everything to everyone. Hashtag reality check. Yes, Miss Lindsay. Michelle said, specializing makes it easier to promote and create your email list. Michelle, it makes it easier to make every single decision in your business. It makes it easier to get up in the morning and go to work. It makes it easier to fall asleep at night. It just makes everything easier. It's like meal planning for your business. Everything is easier. Leslie says, knowing that you can create a landing page from an email platform, especially when your website's controlled by a host agency. Miss Leslie, I will always find a way. I will always find a way. When I was really little, my parents didn't have a lot of money, and my mother always found a way to have a great dinner on the table, and I learned that from her. Okay, Cheryl says, listening to your enthusiasm, because I know you can do it. Miriam, that's you. Oh my gosh. Okay, Miriam, you just had like not your whole name. Okay. Lynn says funnel sequence. Maria says best moment, reasons to establish a niche market and how to market to that market. Yes, ma'am. Trami says, I love the parenting lesson too. A twofer. Oh, I'm not someone to give parenting lessons. I have one kid. I don't even know why he's still alive. Honestly, we've had lots of trips to the emergency room. Last week, my husband took him. We're doing the best we can. Nikki says, thanks for asking my question. Cheryl says, best moment, I feel like you understand my needs. I do, because I built my business the same way I'm teaching you how to build your business. Okay. It says, I love your curls. Thanks, girl. I love them too. Samantha said, that makes me incredibly sad. You're either talking about Houston's shoes and that awful kid, Henry or Harry or whatever his name is, or my curls. The curls look incredible. Thank you. Best moment, only way to grow a business is to get new email subscribers every week and every day. That there is my favorite comment of the day. With that being said, thank you so much. There are so many more. I'm going to go and read them all. Make sure that you head over to the TMR Foundations page. We're going to put a button up. Probably Ez has already done it. Let me just do a quick refresh. Yes, she already has. Learn about our course. I want you to go and have a look at that page, because I want you to watch the 4 videos. They're real quick. They're like 1 or 2 minutes each. Go watch the 4 videos right now. I will see you next week. I can't remember what day or what time, but we'll send out an email for Travel Marketing Town Hall. If you've never been to a town hall before, you're going to love it. It's just Q&A, just like this, and I will answer all the questions. Okay, bye for now. Bye, everybody. Have a great day. I'm going to go catch my 1:15 p.m. flight, and it's currently 10 to 12. Bye.